Hello, my name is Shane Joseph. I am a student at Schreiner University. I'm currently in my last year. I'm a senior, and I've been reading, watching comic books since I was 4 years old, basically since I was could remember.
My name is Austin. I am also a senior at Schreiner University, and I've been reading him since about 8 years old. Also, since I can remember. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll just dive right into one of the most popular characters of all time, Batman. He's extremely recognizable. He's one of him and Spider-Man are one of the ones that will always have some kind of media going out at any time. They're the two that have been really popular. Batman is known for his no kill rule. Like that's what most of his great stories are defined by is him and him not killing anybody and him believing like his quote that if you kill a murderer, the amount of murderers stay the same. So you would think that the history of it would be really interesting. Maybe somebody had a nice idea that this kid grew up with trauma and that's why he became. That's not the case. In his second issue, Batman whips out a machine gun on his like bat plane and just starts shooting everybody. The producer at the time of DC said he was extremely frustrated. He was like, "This is not going to work." He wrote a clause that said Batman should not kill, and I think the reasoning was because he wanted to be family friendly. Like you look at Adam West, that's when they had Adam West. And he was like, "I can't be like." He wasn't really the Batman that most comic book people would say is Batman. He was just kind of like this goofy character. And it was literally just because he said Batman should not kill. If somebody is to die, it should be of their own ego, essentially. So there was no like narrative or anything cool about that character trait. He was literally just written that way, and they didn't want him killing anybody.
And that's probably a first for comics of that time. It was prior to Batman, Superman, and superhero comics in general. It was mostly horror and mystery, detective comics. You get DC from. So your detective character having a gun probably just made sense at the time. But now the idea of Batman holding a gun or shooting a machine gun is a little insane.
Yeah, there's been many panels where he just takes the gun and just snaps it. Like it was it was under the Red Hood when he was first telling him about he like breaks the gun in half with his whatever, somehow his jackedness. And he was like, "This is the weapon of cowards. We shall never use this." But then you look back and he's whipping out machine guns, and even the grappling gun was literally just shaped as a gun. Like it wasn't even the super like futuristic tech. It was straight up a gun.
Yeah. But that's so integral to his character to where, like Zack Snyder movies, you have Batman with rockets on his Batmobile shooting guns. Like it feels wrong nowadays. So it is a little odd in the beginning that there was even a time where that was a question.
Yeah.
But also that no kill rule that is really at first was just Batman and has grown throughout the DC universe as well as the Marvel universe. The philosophy that a hero does not kill their villain or a villain was not always the case. And you can see that in a lot of Marvel, especially even in Marvel movies. Iron Man was killing
Yeah.
a lot of people
Yeah.
in the first Iron Man movie. He kills a lot of people.
Obliterates a whole like Iraq camp basically with missiles.
All three of them, really. He is, I don't know about two, but he is actively killing.
Nobody remembers two. That's why it was.
But it's sort of grown out to where DC Superman has the same no kill rule. Wonder Woman, not so much, give or take, depending on the writer. But it is the norm across DC, at least, where you don't use a gun, you don't kill. That is wrong. Marvel, it's still somewhat of a concept, but mostly prevalent in just Spider-Man and Daredevil off the top of my head.
Yeah, I know Spider-Man's killed before, but I know Daredevil's the one where they basically treat him like Batman, where he has a specific no kill rule. Like that's part of his character in his struggle. Whereas Spider-Man's more like he's done it before, he just doesn't like doing it. So yeah. And then you have the X-Men with Wolverine, who just slaughters everybody. Deadpool just slaughters everybody. So it's
the X-Men really do not care. I can't think of a single X-Men who would actually care too much about killing. Maybe Professor X.
Or
but, like,
maybe just Cyclops, but
just like
that's
that, yeah.
like most of them. Yeah, if they're just gonna obliterate everybody on their path.
But and then with the no kill rule being the standard, being decided as the standard for a superhero, is where anti-heroes sort of come into play, with the Punisher having the opposite of the no kill rule,
Yeah.
all kill rule.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Which I enjoy. It is the anti-hero trope is fun to an extent. It just depends a lot on who's writing it and how
Yeah.
it functions.
The anti-hero trope really rose because it was a criticism of, like you just talked about, how it kind of became normal for people to stop killing. So the trope became popular. Like Red Hood was directly a criticism from Batman. Like Batman's letting the Joker live every single time, but how many people has he? That was a direct criticism from that. And the Punisher, with his trope, he rose because it was a direct criticism of the Marvel universe as a whole, that we can't kill off anybody. So I'll just create a character that will kill everybody and just doesn't care about it. And when with that rise, they realized that they had something interesting. That's why Punisher and Daredevil, Batman and Red Hood work so well, because they're direct criticisms of each other. Yeah. But that's really why. And then Deadpool's in there somewhere. His character can be good, but it's been like an oversaturation of anti-heroes.
With the Punisher, because of the philosophy of Punisher in his own stories gets to kill everyone, but that's not how other writers want their stories. When Punisher is introduced as a side character, he gets whooped every time, constantly. He constantly loses. Kingpin, who's just like a normal big guy,
Yeah.
will just beat on him. Like, he can't, if it's not in his own personal series, I don't think I've ever seen the Punisher win a fight. That's just because I think, as a like writing wise, as a story structure, if you have a character like Spider-Man who really doesn't want to kill, assuming he's not in the black suit,
Yeah.
working with or interacting with the Punisher at all, he becomes the foil. He becomes the main opposition
Yeah.
of whatever story you're writing.
Uh-huh. And then that really just stems from a problem of there's just so many writers on different characters. Stan Lee creates these characters and has a specific vision for them. But then the problem with American comics is those get passed along to different writers. So then you just have this inconsistency between different visions. The worst offender of it is Deadpool. Like when Deadpool first came out, he was he was a mercenary. He was just there to just kill and hire. And then 10 years later, now he's this traumatic anti-hero. And then now he's still goofy, like Bugs Bunny style character. So it's just, and then so many different characters are just butchered just on who's writing them.
And it's not that Deadpool's character can't work. It is often very fun to read, but it needs restraint. It needs a writer that can kind of hold back his goofiness. Gotten so exponentially more off the wall,
Yeah.
to where it can feel like, at least in the modern day, reading a Deadpool comic can just feel like there's no weight or stakes in the story. It just feels like bad joke after bad joke.
Yeah, it's like the epitome of, I don't know, like schoolgirl humor. I don't even know how to explain it, but it's people like Deadpool because he was this guy suffers from PTSD, and he uses those jokes to take away from that. And then of course he gets cancer, he can't see his lover anymore, and he's just been deformed. And so all that sadness and loneliness just gets amplified by his jokes.
Did you read the like early to mid 2010s X-Force series? It's where they had the black and gray suits, Wolverine, Phantom X.
I've only read, you said 2010s?
I think 2010s, like
I didn't read
2015
that
era
one,
type.
actually.
I liked it quite a bit, X-Force. And that was interesting because it took X-Force, which in the 90s, 80s was a very like it was edgy for the 90s, but it's like mullets and
Yeah, yeah.
it's like mullets and crazy. Cable was on that team, was a Shatterstar, and like the most ridiculous
Yeah, the
ideas you can come up with as a character. They took it to like a gritty level, like a more modern take on the gritty hero, where I think their goal was to kill baby Thanos.
Oh, yeah, I never read that one, but I've heard about it.
It's good. And at the end, Deadpool was unable to go through with it. And I think that is something that if you take a different writer and put him in that scenario, they would have him shoot the baby Thanos in the face and make a joke
And
about
then
it.
laugh it off.
But him like being unable to, it gives him depth. Flaws give your character depth, and I think that's really the stem of Deadpool's like writing issues.
Yeah.
Not giving enough, like not using those flaws you were talking about.
Yeah, that's where he is as a character. Is just he needs to be just not a joke. Like he's not a Bugs Bunny. Like how they're making him now recently. Like he's just not there to just be comedically great at everything and kill everybody. Like he's still a character at the end of the day.
Yeah. But then
The reset.
Yeah. But he
Yeah, because like we said, a lot of the problems is from the writing, and that's why when DC and Marvel get in a bind, they have to reset the universes, and that's what the main problem. And then I'll let you go more depth into that.
Marvel and DC has two very different philosophies on how to keep up with their long line of stories. From what was the first when they start 1930s?
Yeah, like World War II.
Yeah, there are comics from past 100 years roughly, and so you kind of can't make Superman, Batman last until modern day and then never explain how he isn't 150 years old.
Not an old man.
Yeah. So what Marvel does is they set their timeline on a sliding scale. I can't remember the exact years, but Fantastic Four is the start of superhumans in that world. And that was like 30 years ago from whatever today's date is, roughly. Maybe more, maybe less, I don't remember. And so if the year is 2000, then Fantastic Four took place in 1970. Everything afterwards follows after that. And it goes by a year. DC has very different. I think it is cleaner and messier in different ways, where they just do hard resets constantly. Started with Crisis on Infinite Earths. We got to New 52, which everybody hated. Rebirth, and I think there was another one more recently. I
think it's All In. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know New 52 this was like our era. That's when they reset, was when we were kids. So a lot of the people have that kind of draw to New 52 because it's New 52. But yeah, they just reset everything, so it's a lot easier to pick up and go. Because the thing with Marvel, it's like you don't know where to start. Like it's like the varying is just so crazy because when they do like a soft reset or hard reset, it's almost never like a big event. Like at least with DC, they'll label it like Crisis on Infinite Earth, New 52. With Marvel, when they do a reset or a soft reset, they just don't tell anybody. They're like, oh, we just kind of Marvel's big on retconning stuff.
If you're not like an experienced comic book fan and you're reading a modern Spider-Man comic and Ben Reilly shows up,
no.
as big of a character as that is in Spider-Man, or that, if you're a new reader, you don't know who that is. That was from the 90s, early 2000s, 90s. That's not even in your like zone of understanding. DC, because of the reboots, they are constantly having to retell that story, which is a strength and a weakness. But if they want to have that character, they give you the opportunity within the last 10 years or so.
Yeah.
A comic that existed within the last 10 years or so to be familiar with that character.
Yeah. Speaking again about New 52, the biggest strength was that it could bring more readers in. Like, obviously, it's easier to start. Like, it started with Justice League. You saw how Batman came together and created all the Justice League. For the first comic, boom. They started, you now know everything. Then you can spin off from there. But the problem with that, the main problem is that the characters are used to, like all the development. Like you've probably like people who grew up reading it in the 70s, they now have this attachment to a certain character. And now if you make a new universe, you have to do something a little different with them, or if you keep them the same. And what really showed with that weakness was Superman. The way the New 52 wrote Superman was Superman's known to be this corny, but all loving. Everybody loves him. He's almost like a father figure to everybody. But New 52, they made him angry. They made him young. They made him very bashful. And he's mean to everybody. Like he wasn't the Superman where he's gentle and kind. He was mean.
Yeah.
And people didn't like that. And they didn't like it so much, they literally had to kill off that Superman and bring in the old Superman in the New 50 universe because they just didn't know what to do with the New 50 Superman because nobody liked him.
It was just, they changed some like key aspects about him that people, is one thing to take away his red underwear on the outside, which people can live without. It's all right. He doesn't have to have red underwear, but it's also kind of nice. Like
we love the red underwear. It's a staple.
Yeah, but they are attached to these characters and to the way that they act. Although from a writing standpoint, it might seem cool and interesting to make him like a little meaner, especially at the time of 2012. Is that when that came out?
Yeah, it was about
roughly.
Yeah.
At that time, superhero movies were edgy. Everyone wanted an edgier hero, especially because of the criticism of the Christopher Reeve Superman was probably everyone's concept of who Superman was. As classic as those movies are, they're not the best depiction of comic book Superman. He's a little bit underdeveloped.
Yeah.
So all right, we got to put some edge on him, make him cool, make him date Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
the Lois Lane, people know a few things about Superman. He's a good dude.
He's an alien.
He's from Kansas and he dates Lois Lane. And he's not a good dude. And he's not dating Lois Lane. It
just feels wrong.
Yeah.
And that's why they rushed to kill him off, because they were people didn't like him. He's known as one of the worst parts of New 52. Like I didn't pick up New 52 in like actual format because I did not like Superman in that version. But it's the first time, one of the few times where death will actually matter.
Yeah.
In a comic, because deaths in comics don't matter. How many times has everybody died and came back?
Yeah. The saying used to be the two people that'll never come back are Jason Todd and Uncle Ben. Mm-hmm. And now it's just Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
Now it's just Uncle Ben, because Jason Todd came back in like 2011, like 2010s there, like early 2010s. And he's a great character. It ended up working for him, but they just don't because comics is a long-running issue. It's a long-running series with all those different writers, and it's not going to end. As soon as you can write a perfect story, a perfect arc of this character, and then when you leave, somebody else is going to take over forever and onwards, and they're eventually going to revive that character.
Yeah. The
character that you killed off that had a good, meaningful death is going to come back in some way. And we complain about it, but we don't always. I don't think we complain about it enough, actually.
No, we don't.
Because Gwen Stacy is one of the more meaningful deaths in comics.
It's known as one of the best Spider-Man arcs was the death of Gwen Stacy.
Yeah, and she is the best love interest for Spider. I hate MJ.
I don't like MJ.
MJ's terrible. With the Venom run, have you seen the new Venom run?
No, I have not.
She's dating Venom, not like the guy,
like the symbiote, the alien.
Yes, it's terrible. Yeah. They have a whole issue where Spider-Man's going through a pretty rough day, and he comes home and he sees MJ after they've broken up, and she's like, "Peter, I just want to let you know I'm in a relationship with someone now." And he's like, "Oh, okay," and then she becomes Venom. What are we doing? But my point with Gwen Stacy is it's one of the most meaningful deaths in comics and a great arc. And then somebody got the bright idea to bring her back as Spider-Gwen or Ghost Spider.
Oh, yeah.
Which is fine, I guess. But we've had we use her a lot without ever addressing. I haven't seen them really address the fact that Peter Parker is still pretty scarred by that death and is just okay with seeing her around.
Yeah, they don't really use that arc afterwards as a big turning point for his character. Like he just kind of stays the same after that. And then
Yeah.
he goes to MJ. But I don't it's pretty Marvel right now is in a spot where they just have no idea except for the new Ultimate Universe. That's the only thing that's working for them.
Yeah. With the world resets, because it's so hard to keep up, the Ultimate Universe and the Absolute Universe are the best way to bring new readers in.
Yeah, because they start from the ground up.
It'll tell a new story. It'll change the character, and with enough leeway in that it's a separate universe. It's not mainline, so this is not the version of the character that this is not going to be forever. This is just for this separate situation. So we don't mind if Superman's meaner here.
Yeah.
It gives you a little bit more room to
play around with them. Yeah. The thing about the Ultimate Comics, like the OG Ultimate Comics, the best part of that was Ultimate Spider-Man. And that came out right before the Sam Raimi movies.
Yeah.
And if you look at the origin stories from those two, they're literally almost like identical.
A lot of like characters, arcs that we know and associate with these characters comes from the Ultimate Universe.
Yeah.
Nick Fury, before the Ultimate Universe, was a white dude.
Yeah, that's true.
And then they based him, and then the writer based Nick Fury off of Samuel L. Jackson. And so they got Samuel L. Jackson to play him in the movie. And now that's standard.
Yeah. And there's also the reverse effect with Robert Downey Jr. Once he came in and played Iron Man, they made Iron Man look sort of like Robert Downey Jr.
Star-Lord with Chris Pratt, entire costume and personality change.
Yeah.
So movies, shows that are popular, video games too, even have an effect on the comic book print industry in a way that is sometimes good and sometimes very frustrating. They've canceled comic book runs in favor of ones that will support movies or shows. They have made writers change the direction of their story so that they can include things from the movies that people liked in hopes to get those readers involved. Even though realistically, I don't think anybody who just likes the movies is going to start reading the comics and become a diehard comic book reader just because Iron Man looks more like Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, the logic makes sense theoretically if I portray this character in a certain way on screen and then I write comics of that character. It's like they could be like, oh, it's almost like it's one-to-one, like it's the same character, but then you just get character annihilations. What happened with Thor, like just a complete annihilation of his character.
Yeah, it's like a snake eating its own tail. Comic books, movies and shows should get their sources from the comic books. They should get at least the core ideas of a story from the comic books. It's okay if they diverge, if they create a different ending, if they just use the themes, because those often end up in a good movie. I think Thor Ragnarok is a good movie. It's a fun movie because they took themes from Planet Hulk and from Thor and they made their own thing with it. But then when the comic books start feeding off of the movies that they were based off of, it's like a Xerox of a Xerox. It's like copying a copy, and the cycle makes it worse in quality, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Thor is sometimes goofy, but mostly because he, at least pre-Ragnarok, is sometimes goofy, but mostly because he's so regal and otherworldly.
Yeah, he's a king. He's supposed to act, dress, and move like a king. He's not supposed to be this buffoon that they've kind of made him now.
Yeah.
And I know they try and played it off with Love and Thunder, where it's, I just have all this. I'm lonely or whatever. I don't have a friend. It's like, you're a king. I guess he lost all of his people, but they can always. They built New Asgard. He's a king of New Asgard, and it's frustrating to watch because.
How do you feel about the Fat Thor arc from
I
Endgame.
hated that.
Dude, it's so bad.
And it's the same way they try and play it off. Oh, since I didn't kill Thanos, it's like you're a king. Like you were raised by Odin. You took all of Odin's qualities.
There's no, if you look how his character acts in 3 Thor movies, and I have to watch the second one's really bad too. But in the 3 Thor movies and the Avengers movies, it doesn't make sense for him to quit and play Fortnite for 5 years.
Yeah, it just
Like that's not something he would ever do in the movies they've written or in the comic books. He is a king and he is a warrior. He likes to fight. He likes to drink. It just doesn't happen.
it's his best interpretation was the Avengers movie, the first one, the 2012 Avengers movie. That was his best interpretation because it was him and all the ways people liked him from the comics. And that movie still stands up today. It's a little corny, but
The first Thor one, I liked how he acted in the first Thor movie. It was a little weird. It was a little not the best, but like the whole I'll have another smash in a glass.
oh yeah.
That's how I think his humor kind of should be.
Yeah. He should almost be like he's a king, so he can do whatever he wants. So he shouldn't like normalize to the standards of our society. Like he's almost otherworldly. He is otherworldly, so he should act like it. And that's what should be the best parts.
But then not even just movies, like Marvel Rivals video game. They had the Malice skin
Yeah.
for Invisible Woman, which is from a long time ago. They have not brought the idea of Malice into the comics in a long time. They're bringing her back because it got popular outside of comics.
Yeah.
And it's just, like I said, comic books, as profitable as superhero movies and games are, the comic books themselves are low selling.
Yeah.
Or don't make as much money as any of the other things. Weirdly enough, comic books is probably the lowest grossing aspect of all comic book
Characters and media.
media. Yeah.
I would agree because it's still seen as like a niche hobby because you have to buy them or read them online, and people don't like reading as much as compared to watching or playing a game. So that's part of the reason.
I mean, just accessibility to comic book store. You have to go to a comic book store, and then if you want to be caught up with a current issue, you have to buy 1 issue a month, which like you have to work into your schedule or you'll forget.
Yeah.
Or you don't have a comic book store nearby, or you could get a subscription and have them mailed to your house.
Yeah.
But it's in like a world where movies are at home and instant, shows are at home and instant, video games, you don't even buy discs anymore.
Yeah, you just buy
At
it
home and
on the
instant.
store and it's already there.
It makes the idea of going to a store to find the issue that you want, or even ordering it and have it mailed to you, seem like too many steps. It seems cumbersome to even try.
Yeah, and then there's just so many formats too. There's different, like there's the single issue, there's the volume, there's the hardcover, and then there's the omnibus, and then there's the deluxe omnibus, and then the absolute deluxe. It's which one do I pick? I don't even like when I buy comics, I don't even go into stores anymore just because like they're not gonna have the one that I would want.
Yeah.
Like I prefer the hardcovers, the ones that are pretty nice and that could last a while. Like whenever I buy a paperback, those things are shredded and just reading them, like just sitting on my lap, like taking as much care, they still get pretty bent up.
Yeah. Do you still try and collect new issues as they come out?
New issues, no. So even when I'm reading anything, I don't like to read ongoing stuff because then I'll just eventually drop it because there's no end to the story. So I don't want to read the rest. And I don't want to get caught up because then I don't want to be that guy who's waiting a week for 10 pages.
That's why the volumes and the omnibuses are like so good, because it will tell a consolidated. They don't end. The comics sometimes, depending on what you're reading, do not end. It's only when, I don't know, you're reading Kingdom Come.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, the Long Halloween or Year One, where it's a concise story with beginning and middle and end.
Yeah.
So collecting them currently can be annoying. I will still get it if I see a variant cover I like.
Yeah.
I just love some of the artwork I'll see. But the collection aspect has been lost a little bit in modern comics because they try, I don't know, Batman issue 1, the new Batman issue 1, I think it's 3 variant covers. They'll have a million
Yeah.
variant covers for one issue, which
It's just I don't think they realize that if I'm gonna read new material and it's gonna come out every week, I'm not gonna go buy it. And then because you buy it for I think it's $8 now, and I'm getting like 12 pages of the story. So why would I want to go buy that when I can just wait a year or 2 years,
let the whole story come out.
and then I can just buy a volume for half the price because I don't got to spend $8 per issue. It's gonna have a bunch of issues.
Well, half the total price, because really those omnibuses can be like kind of expensive.
Yeah, but you can find the little volumes where they collect the issues, which
They're
is
like
why it
$20
gets
or so,
it's I think I bought one recently for 15.
But the Moon Knight Midnight Mission, like 3 of the collections for 20 a pop. Love Moon Knight.
Yeah, I only buy omnibuses now. Like I don't touch anything
Really?
else. I don't. The only time I didn't buy an omnibus was the World's Finest run that's happening right now, just because it's a really fun run to read. And I'm not a big person who reads online, just because I feel like I'm losing an aspect, and because it hurts my eyes. Like I don't want to be staring at my screen all day because I'll be reading for like at least an hour, and then you gotta hold the phone up all the way to your eyes.
I actually don't mind the Marvel Unlimited app. Where they scan all their comics onto the app so you can read it, and it'll take it like panel by panel.
Yeah,
it's easy. I don't mind it.
I've seen those, but my thing is I don't want to stare at a screen, just straight up staring at it.
Yeah,
for at least an hour.
I think omnibuses can be a little daunting. They're thick. It's a lot of pages.
It gets awkward to read. Like
it's just like functionally difficult to read sometimes.
Like it has to be in your lap, and it has to be like on a pillow.
Yeah.
And then don't even get, if you want to conserve it to try and
not
wear it. Yeah. Then I don't know what you do. And then some omnibuses, their spines are just not made well. Like the ones that are like bend in, like those could almost break in half.
Like
by
the
how long
invincible
you're reading
ones.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's not, omnibuses scare me. I'm just going to destroy it or not finish it. And now I've spent a lot of money on something that I destroyed or didn't finish.
Yeah.
But I did get a Frank Miller Daredevil omnibus a while back. I love Frank Miller Daredevil.
Yeah.
So good.
It's the classic. It's the classic one.
But weirdly enough, I do have a Berserk. I do have this.
Oh, the deluxe.
I have 5 of them.
Okay.
Of
yeah.
the big
like
hardcover
ones. Yeah.
They've been fine to read. I haven't destroyed them.
It's because manga, they take more pride, I think, in their like manufacturing of it. Like I think I own way more manga than I do own American comics.
Really?
Because with manga, you don't have to worry about, like we talked about, writer issues. You don't have to worry about reset universes. It's just one person writes it, they have an idea, they finish it. Sometimes the publishers will tell them they need to continue it, and then you get those drawn out arcs, or they got something you got to end it.
Yeah.
So sometimes you get a rushed arc, but most of the time it's one complete story. Like you look at Demon Slayer, a very simple story, one person's vision, they wanted to end it in a certain way, and they were able to.
Yeah.
And then it's just different characters also, because Spider-Man's been around for years and years, and he hasn't grown as a character because people are scared to make him grow. Whereas you take manga, they want those characters to grow, and so each passing issue they grow. Where Spider-Man, he keeps getting, like you said, it's Venom sleeping with his girlfriend now.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's terrible. But manga is, I don't have the stats to back it up, but I'm willing to bet they sell more print media than in the current day, way more than comic books do.
Yeah, I don't know the stats either, but
I'd bet money on that.
You can just walk into a Barnes and Nobles, right?
They have
They have 7 shelves for manga, and there's 1 for comics.
Because all of the issues with comics right now do not exist for most manga. Maybe for One Piece, but for probably every other manga out there right now, it is a story that is meant to end. Marvel DC stories are not meant to end.
Usually. And then with manga, most of the stories, are fairly quick.
Yeah.
Not quick as in, it's 2 volumes. The pacing of most manga are quick. They want to get to the point. They want to show you character development. They don't want to cheat around, and they don't want to have crossovers, which is another thing with comics struggles with, is they need crossovers, because I'm sure the higher ups, if we make this crossover with Spider-Man and Deadpool, Spider-Man and Wolverine, Spider-Man and Daredevil, he'll get money. And so with manga, you don't have that because those
Yeah.
characters aren't in an interconnected universe.
There's also issues with like, where do I start in comics?
Mhm.
Where do I start reading? Which most of us, I think, just started wherever, and we figured it out from there.
Yeah, you
And
just
the
you pick
first
up one little page of the library and then you just kind of guess what characters are.
the first issue I think I ever owned was a random Green Lantern comic. I had no context for anything that happened prior to it. I just thought it looked cool.
Yeah.
And then I built my knowledge of it around that.
Yeah, my first like issue comic, like single issues, was we go to the flea market. There's always that guy who's selling like you get 5 for $5 basically. And I picked up a Spider-Man issue, and it was the issue that is like notoriously hated. It's where they try to bring back his parents.
Oh
And so I
yeah.
watched the movies and I'm reading it, I'm like, what is this? Like his parent, like what is going on? And of course I don't have the rest of the context to understand. So like he's talking to his parents and I'm like, what? Like I can't imagine going like in the 80s, you go into a comic shop and you're missing an issue, and then now you just kind of make up guesswork of what happened.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. My name's Austin.
I'm Shane Joseph.
Good afternoon.